The city of Lebanon was recently recognized by livability.com as being the #1 best small town in the U.S. to live in, which is really exciting to have such an established organization like livability.com recognize what many of us here in Lebanon already knew, that this is a great place to live. So it shows that we already have a strong infrastructure, lots of programs for both young children and families and adults alike, and the Safe Routes to Play program from last year already started us on that process where we can go to our community and say, what would make Lebanon even better? How can we get you to the places where you want to go and play and recreate and enjoy life here in Lebanon? Lebanon Plays is the next logical step in that process, where we get to take all that information from Safe Routes to Play and say, what can we physically do now? Can we focus on families, especially with children from newborns to 5 years old, and provide some of the play spaces that we know that they are needing and hoping for in their neighborhoods, and also put them in neighborhoods where they are. They don't have to get in a car and drive across town to get to one. And the Safe Routes to Play program told us where some of those places are already lacking. So we have lots of playgrounds around the community, but we don't have them specifically designed for kids newborn to 5 years old. Now we know what we need to do. Lebanon Plays is going to help us launch into that process. When it comes to playground equipment, design is everything. We can't just go out and build a playground. We have to know who our target audience is, who's going to actually come here and play with these things, and is it going to be appropriate for them? That includes where are we going to locate this play structure, what age groups are going to be there, what are the safety considerations that we need to make? Is it going to be close to a busy road or not? Is this going to be a place where other amenities are available for families to be at? Colburn Park is a great example of this, where there's so much activity happening in that park, and parents are often looking for, what can my child do while I'm in here going to the farmer's market or attending this concert? So when we design a play space, we have to recognize that something that's built for like a 6 to 12-year-old isn't at all appropriate for a newborn to 5-year-old child, mainly because of fall factors. The #1 cause of injuries for children on play spaces is impact with the ground.
A few weeks after Charlotte turned 3, my husband took her to the playground, her and her big brother. How she goes. And she loved being on the swings, but she let go while she was on the swings and fell off and broke her collarbone. So we spent the day in the ER and had x-rays, and she had to wear a sling for about 6 weeks, and she couldn't ride her bike or play in the playground. And fortunately, it happened right at the beginning of the summer. So 6 weeks of summer, no playing.
Now, a child who's 6, 7, 10 years old is completely happy jumping off a deck that might be 2, 3 feet off the ground, or a climbing structure that's even 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Clearly, that's not good for a 3-year-old. This is already higher than their head. So what is appropriate for a 0 to 5-year-old? Something maybe 6 to 8 inches off the ground, something that they can crawl through, something that they can navigate by learning some coordination skills, but not necessarily climbing up to great heights for. Colburn Park is a great place for us to start this Lebanon Plays process and thinking about how do we build a new play structure for this age group, because the community's already told us. The Safe Routes to Play initiative interviewed tons of families, and we got great data about where do people go and what is lacking in those places currently.
I'd like to see playgrounds have just more equipment, and definitely more, if it's possible, 2 different sets of equipment. One area for the older kids and another area for the younger kids. That way they're not running into the older kids. The older kids can have fun playing, but the younger kids have stuff that's more age appropriate to them, lower heights, and just they're by themselves, not playing around the older kids who are more rambunctious.
As we think about building these sort of play structures in other neighborhoods in the community, we like the idea of giving people an opportunity to get there without getting in their car necessarily. Lebanon has several different neighborhoods, some of them are quite large, and we love the idea of being able to build more playground structures in all of these different neighborhoods. And fortunately, we're also in the process of building the Mascoma River Greenway, which will be the artery connecting West Lebanon and Lebanon, allowing people to get on their bikes or in their strollers or go for a walk or a hike and actually be able to connect to the different neighborhoods and schools. We as a recreation department love advocating for our residents and putting opportunities before our city to consider for how we can make recreation even a stronger asset in Lebanon. But we are only one department within the city. People respond, like our city councilors, our planning board members respond when the community speaks up and says, this is what we're expecting and hoping for, and this is the why we want those things. So community voice is really important, especially in a small town like Lebanon. We're not some huge city where one vote gets lost in the shuffle of thousands and thousands of votes. Your voice actually gets heard in Lebanon. And we need that voice because we don't want to create something that people are not going to respond to. We can't respond unless you tell us. We know that kids who are active outside playing in play structures like this get to enjoy the activity of being healthy. So we don't tell kids, go outside and exercise. We tell them, go outside and play. And that's exactly what we're creating, is an atmosphere where they get to go to a place that's near their neighborhood and they get to go out and play, and they reap all the benefits of going outside and exercising, but they don't call it that. They get to call it play. The next steps are to contact the recreation department, offer us your email and phone number so that we can contact you in the future with how to get more involved in this process. You can also visit us online, and please share this video with your friends and neighbors. Quality of life is a huge factor in helping determine whether or not people will move into a community like Lebanon and whether or not they'll stay here. People want to be in a place where they know that they can enjoy places to play, places to go outside and recreate, good education, and all of those different things. These are big factors in not only attracting folks to live here and contribute to our community, but also whether or not businesses will prosper here and the community will be able to flourish.